Hi, I'm Michael Stewart. Welcome to TLC, Transforming Lives Continually. It's always a pleasure to be here with you and to share with you something that will transform your lives. Especially today, we live in a world that lives need to be transformed because so many people are going through so many challenges in their lives. It is amazing. A number of people are being hurt by so many things that are taking place in their lives. Children are experiencing more pain probably now than they have ever before. While for parents experience a lot of hardship, a lot of people in today's time experiencing pain. We claim to be the happiest place on earth, Trinidad and Tobago, and Marshall Montano sang that he's the happiest man on earth. But yet we have the highest levels of crime in the region, and we have a number of discomfort that's taking place. Is it that we are hiding our pain? Is it that we are hurting, but we are hurting people that are silent with a hurt, pretending to be okay? When we look at Facebook, we see people on Facebook giving their pretense, and they shower all sorts of pictures of their relationships and how things going good and so on. But underneath, you could tell that there are things that are not going good, because soon after, their relationship is broken and their status is now complicated. You see, so a lot of these things are just facade, window dressings and so on. Not everybody is happy. Some people are indeed happy, and we thank God for that, but a number of people not happy and not prepared to admit their levels of unhappiness. So I want to talk to you on a very important topic. Don't let your pain hurt you. Don't let your pain hurt you. You see, because a lot of people in pain, but they are being hurt by their own pain, because every time that you are experiencing emotional pain, your behavior, your attitude, your mental state makes adjustments. Whether you admit it or not, that's a natural result. You cannot hoard pain. You cannot imprison feelings and emotions within you and it not come out at some point in time. So I hope that if you are listening now, you're going to call somebody who needs to listen to this program, because it's going to be very important to them. Before we get into that, I want to also tell you, there's a seminar we have coming up, a very important seminar that's called Men with Issues, Women with Tissues. Yes, let me say that again. Men with Issues, Women with Tissues. Because we need to help us understand that some of the problems in relationships come from the issues that some men are experiencing. And the tears that our women or mothers or sisters or girlfriends or wives are experiencing come from the issues that sometimes men have. And so we want to address that. We're not blaming men for things, but we want men to be able to identify their situation. So we're inviting both men and women to come out to this seminar. We have made it very affordable. So we are charging $100 only to attend this seminar. It's going to be on the 15th. It's an evening seminar. It's going to be about 6 o'clock in the evening. So it's an evening seminar, and we're inviting you to come along, and we're going to spend about 2 hours together and sharing in that. So if you're interested, call 635-1801. That is 635-1801. That's the office number. And make your appointment. You've got to register in advance. We don't want people making their last minute registration. This is on the 15th of September, and we're really looking forward for a wonderful time. It is going to be an interactive session. I'm going to be the speaker, and we'll have other people there who would be helping us in the discussion that's going to ensue after the presentation. Right? So that's the 15th of September. We'll talk about it again before this program is over. But today's topic, don't let your pain hurt you. A number of people, they are standing in their own way. The problems that they have, they are the cause, or if they act upon themselves, they can remove the cause. So we stand in our own way of progress and healing. And I want to tell you some of the things that we do that make us be the kind of person and be in the situations that we are in. Why we are in pain and we are hurting off of the pain that we are in. Number one, sometimes when we express ourselves in relationships, on the job, with our spouses, with our children, with our neighbors, with people that we meet, When we express ourselves, we are expressing the pain we feel and not the facts that are real. Let me say that again. We are expressing the pain that we feel, but not the facts that are real. And because we are expressing our pain and we do not deal with facts, the person we are talking with or arguing with miss the point, because you just want them to know how much you are in pain and you don't do your relationship any good. And so when we express ourselves and when we tell people things, sometimes when people go to make the report to the police will tell you that when people come to make a report, you will hear somebody say, the man nearly killed me. Let's say it's an accident that took place. And sometimes the accident is a minor scratch. Minor. So we exacerbate things. We make things look worse than they are. So sometimes we are in a relationship, and when we report or share with other people the pain that we feel in that relationship, anybody listening will swear the person that we are in that relationship with is the worst person in the world, if they just listen to what we are saying only. Because we don't deal with the facts. We deal with the pain that we feel. So it gives the impression that the person that you're in the relationship with is all bad. And there is no good about the person, because all the reports that we bring and all the sharing that we share about the person gives the impression that the person is no good. But this is the same person, oftentimes, who does so much for us that because of the amount of pain that we have, we minimize and we trivialize all the good the person is doing in our lives at that same time. Wow. That is what I'm talking about. That the hurt and the pain that we have, we turn around and hurt ourselves. You can't restore your relationship if you keep harping and mentioning all the bad that the person that you're in the relationship with is doing to you. Balance it. Be conscious enough. Be righteous enough. Be fair enough to also talk about their good. Here's what that is going to do. It removes the extent of your pain and brings you into a reality that says, though things are bad, things not so bad. Yes. Even when we're talking about the place we're working with or employers, sometimes some employees talk so much about how bad the employer is. And this is the same employer that you have skipped work, come late to work so often, and they have not deducted your salary. You don't mention that, do you? Oh no. But you mention the time that the employer suspended you because of some infraction that you did on the job. You mention all the times that the employer has spoken to you in haste or because they were irritable about something and they spoke to you rough. You mention that part. Oh yes, you do. You do. But you don't mention the fact that there are times that they have gone overboard and allowed you to stay employed when they had enough grounds to fire you because you have not been performing optimally yourself. Yes, so don't let your pain hurt you. Don't let your pain hurt you. Be fair in what we do. And that's what sometimes we live in a world where people just make everybody and everything else look so bad. And you'll swear that they are so good. And they're not that good. We're not that great. All of us have faults. Yes, all of us have faults. You know, and when you really try to sit down and you check yourself and you ask yourself, boy, many of the things that we complain about with other people, that we are so passionate about to complain about other people, if you check yourself, there is a high chance you are guilty in some similar form over the very things you complain about other people. Think about it. Because sometimes the reason why we are so angry with other people is because they are our shadow. They're just like us. Yes. So you like people who straightforward with you, but you are bad talking that same person or other people with other people behind the back, and you have not even approached that person properly. You have not even approached the person at all. And when you approach them to show a flamboyant kind of spirit, to let everybody know that how straightforward you are. You're not doing it because you want to be straightforward. You're doing it because you're still on a show. So indeed, you're still not straightforward. Wow, don't let your pain hurt you. So that's one. The second thing that I want to raise is that sometimes we do things to teach other people a lesson when there is no learning that will come out of what you're teaching them. We teach people a lesson by some of the things we do because of the pain that we have, but there's no learning to come out of it. And I will tell you one of the most popular ones that I see growing now. If two people are in a relationship and one of those persons, let's say two people in the relationship and the other person was unfaithful in the relationship. More and more, we realize that the innocent person, the victim, goes and be unfaithful with somebody else and almost want the person to find out who was unfaithful to them so that they'll teach them a lesson, how hurt they were when they did it. And you think learning takes place? You think that person gets any epiphany and wisdom that says, oh, look at what I've done wrong? They knew from the first place when they were being unfaithful to you that they were doing wrong. You didn't need to teach them a lesson. But here's what you do. Your pain has now caused you to become a person that you never imagined yourself to become. You never saw yourself turning into that ugly person because you are now doing things in a vengeful way, but doing it because you're saying you want them to see the hurt. Hurting people hurt people. Hurting people hurt people. So there's no learning that takes place from that. So that's just one. The other point that I want to bring is that sometimes as parents, and that's in the same point of how we do things that express our pain, but to teach a lesson, but the lesson is not learned. It can't be learned. And I'm talking about parents who think it a training ground to embarrass their children in front of other people. Those are the parents who go down to schools and beat children in front of their classmates to teach them a lesson. Those are the husbands who embarrass their wives in front of other people to teach her a lesson. Those are the wives who are drama queens who try to embarrass their husband in front of his friends to teach him a lesson. Those are the children who try to embarrass their parents so that the other children would see that my parents can't tell me what to do, and they do that in front of other people to teach the parents, don't mess with me. Hurting people hurt people. Don't let your pain hurt you. I challenge you to find out from those people who said it worked. Because I've heard people say, it worked for me in my days when I was young and my parents beat me in front of other people. I never did it again. What you got was conformity, most likely. They're not going to do it again because they don't want the embarrassment again. But did they learn the lesson? You know, when I talk to people who have experienced such painful experience of having to be embarrassed in front of other people, they quickly recall the event. They quickly recall the emotional pain and trauma. They quickly recall the embarrassment. They recall the expression of the other people's faces. They recall their own emotional state of deprivation. But they have to think about what was it they were really learning in the process. They will tell you what the situation was, but when you ask them, what did you learn? The most they could come up with, I learned not to do it again. Well, learning not to do something again is, I wonder if that is a learning. Well, learning to me is, I have understood error I've understood that because of this error, this is the result if I continue in it without that punishment, because it was a wrong thing to do. And I have learned a new and better way. Every time somebody learns something, the learning experience produces new growth. That is what it's supposed to do. New growth, better behavior, better attitude. It's not supposed to produce pain. You can use pain to teach a lesson. But if the extent of the pain is larger than the lesson, then I'm not too sure how successful it was. Because the growth and the learning process must be able to outweigh that embarrassment and pain. And here's what happened with many people who have been embarrassed in public. They tend not to do things, not because they have learned, but because they don't want the embarrassment again. So the embarrassment is what keeps them in conformity. But that is a situation where, as the older people used to say, a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. You must want this learning process that takes place. So that's the second thing. Let's not use embarrassment to teach people lessons. Let's help people in the learning. And a lot of people who have been embarrassed don't like public events again, and don't like to be around people because it is almost indelibly marked on their psyche with a negative stamp. They are afraid to face people, and many people attest to the fact that they have a self-esteem problem thereafter. No. We must praise people in public and critique them in private. Criticize them in private, correct them in private, and help them to understand the error of their ways in private, so that even if you have to punish them, even if you have to punish the child, you punish the child in private. But don't punish the child while teaching the child the lesson by telling them what they're not supposed to do while you are giving them strokes. Have the discussion. Explain to them why they're getting the punishment, and have a discussion going on, and then by all means administer the punishment to make sure that the learning is larger than the pain. So that's two. We don't have much time, so let's go along. Number 3, the topic today is don't let your pain hurt you. And just before we go into number 3, let me just remind you, on the 15th of September, there's a workshop that we have at Stumpy's Bypass at my office at Communication Consultants Tobago Limited. That's the 15th of September. It's a Saturday. It's at 6 o'clock in the evening. And we are having a seminar on men with issues, women with tissues. It's $100 only. And we're asking people to register early. Call our telephone number 635-1801. You know how people are last minute in this country. Do not call last minute. Try and call as early as possible. Even if the office is closed, it is going to transfer the calls to my cell phone. And so you can call anytime to register, and then make sure you pay early before the day of the event so that you could be part of that. It is going to be a wonderful program. And then on the 2nd of September, the Churches of Christ in Tobago would be having a crusade at the church building, which operates out of my office also, at Stumpy's Bypass. And we invite you to that on the 2nd of September to the 8th of September. It's going to be an exciting program. We have a speaker coming in from Grenada. His name is Mr. Levon Lewis, and he's going to be speaking. And the theme that we're running this time is the Hour of Decision. Wonderful topics, and I'm sure that you'll have a life-transforming experience once you attend. So please attend to that, 2nd of September to the 8th of September. Okay, so we come back to our topic. Don't let your pain hurt you. So we spoke about, we say the things that we feel instead of the facts that are real. That's one. 2, we said that we want to teach people a lesson that will never be learned. So that's why some people embarrass other people, because they're trying to teach people a lesson, but no lesson is learned. They don't improve. They are not any greater. They conform, but they have not been transformed. No behavior change is coming out of them willingly through understanding. It's just because that they are not doing something because they don't want to have another repeat of whatever embarrassment, etc. And thirdly, we medicate our pain with things other than medicine. Because we are hurting so much with things that are inside of us that we have closed up in us for so long. People begin to do things to cope. And it is not with medicine. That's why some people are on drugs. That's why some people take to the bottle. They drink. They smoke. They're on marijuana. They're on cocaine and so on because they are hurting so much. And I'm saying because people are hurting, that hurt that they're doing, they're medicating it. Some people medicate their pain with food. They overeat, damage themselves. You find that there might be a young girl, and let me tell you how powerful it is. You might have a young girl who is a beautiful young girl, shapely, and attractive, all the guys liking her and so on. But she ends up with so many guys that come into her life who hurt her, that she begins to overeat, to change her shape, put on excess weight so that she will not be attractive anymore, without even knowing that is what she's doing, because it is part of her unconscious act to get rid of her pain. Yes? And so that's what you find in some people, that they begin to do things that are unhealthy, unwholesome, because of that pain that they experience. So medicating the pain with all of these drugs and bad behavior and going out and liming for long hours and just don't care about the world anymore, don't care whether things go good or bad, and they just destroy their lives. The hurt that they feel, the pain that they have, they themselves have actions that now turning around and hurt them. And then you have number 4, where we double our troubles because of the pain that we have. We double our troubles. And because of the pain we have, we double our troubles, and that pain we have turn around and hurt us. And let me explain what I mean. Many people who have made mistakes in life make another mistake to correct their former mistake and double their pain. You know, I've spoken to a number of teenagers who grew up in Christian families and have parents who probably have good standing and high standing in churches and so on. But they make a mistake. They get involved with a young man and got pregnant. But because of the embarrassment that they anticipate and the shame that comes, they commit an abortion in order to still appear right. And then you meet them, and sometimes they talk to you about the pain they feel. Some of them I would hear recount, my child would have been 2 years old today. My child would have been 4 years old. And they're in the pain still. A double trouble, double mistake to deal with their first pain. And they have that on their conscience. When they see another person make a baby and they see the joy of the parent, they feel it. Yes. That's real, and that's what happens. And so, because of the pain we have, we hurt ourselves by making other pain. Somebody said the mindset that created your problem cannot be the same mindset that changes it. That's why people who are in pain need to talk to somebody. And that's why we provide the service that we provide at our office. And so if you are listening today and you think that you know of somebody, or you are somebody who need to talk to somebody, to have a counselor, to be able to share, somebody to help you to make good decisions, somebody who you think would help to understand what you're going through without judging you. Because part of the reason why we are resistant to talk to people, because we judge each other. I want to invite you to call our office at 635-1801. That is 635-1801. I hope today's program was able to help you. And the topic today is don't let your pain hurt you. And I hope that you remember the 4 points that we gave. One is we make a mistake by saying what we feel instead of saying the facts that are real. The second point that we said is that sometimes we do things to teach a lesson that is never learned. Third point that we said is that we medicate our pain with things that are not medicine. Drugs, overeating, liming, trying to get as many friends as possible. And fourthly, we double our troubles with the mistakes that we make. We make a mistake and we make another mistake to correct that mistake. So we do things on a job that make a mistake, and we walk off the job, we make another mistake, and then we recognize that we are without a job and we don't have anything, and then we go and steal from somebody in order to be able to make some money because we don't have a job, because we walked out of the job that we have. Mistake after mistake after mistake. All right? So we're saying, don't do that. Don't do that anymore. Call our office, 635-1801, and let's set up an appointment to start your healing process. That's why we call this Transforming Lives Continually. And before we close, let me just remind you, the Churches of Christ, we have a crusade coming up August 2nd to the 8th, September, and it's at Stumpy's Bypass at the Church of Christ, just along the road, just next to Stumpy's Bypass. It's a green building. It is free. We're inviting you to come out. The theme is the hour of decision. You need to make a decision urgently. And also on the 15th of September, we have a seminar coming up. It's entitled Men with Issues, Women with Tissues. And that seminar, we are going to encourage you to come in and be part of that seminar. It's only $100. You can call 635-1801 to register and pay in advance. And let's see if people could pay before the end of August month so that we can be able to have as many persons as possible. It will be interactive. You will have questions. Both men and women are invited to be with it. I'm Michael Stewart, and you have been listening to Transforming Lives Continually. And make sure that you give us a call, because you are going to make a change in your life. Do not let your life remain the way it is, because as we are approaching the end of 2018, don't let it end as you start. One of the topics apparently in the crusade is come as you are, but don't leave as you came. That is going to help you in a very powerful way in dealing with your life. Once again, thank you so very much, and give us a call, and I will see you next time around the same time.